We are at Patmos. That's where we are. Now, yesterday you were speaking with my friend Pastor Nyahuma, who told you that we must come together. Because when we are not together, they will tear us apart. When we are not together, we are going to be torn apart. And the Lord wants us to work as one unit, as one body. And that's what he was talking about as he was referencing the book of Revelation. We know that the devil decided that the apostles, in order to try and to destroy them, he wanted them to be separated. And that's why we find John at Patmos. That's why we found Peter where he was. Because the devil wanted them to be what? Because when we are separated, we are destroyed. They used to go in their separate ways, and then they'll come back together to recalibrate and then restart all over again. But when John was at Patmos, the purpose was to take him away from everything so that his influence could not grow. Let us be careful that the devil is going to take us away so that our influence is going to be distorted. Let us be careful that the devil might not use us to take others away so that they should not be influenced to the very people that we are trying to witness to. We are talking about Patmos. Now, Patmos, from the Greek word Patmos, means mortal. This is the most common etymology, and it is supported by the fact that the island of Patmos is located in the sea, in Greece, and is known as the Sea of the Dead in ancient times. Now, we are in the book of Revelation, might I add, but I know that there are a few pastors, but my audience is business people. Is that okay? So we are going to try and find out about business in the book of Revelation. That's what we are looking for. So if you are a pastor, look for in today's sermon some aspects, and we're only looking at one of those aspects, which are the most important in trying to develop what we know as a business. Today we are talking about that. Tomorrow we are going to talk about the character of the man who wants to start what is called a business. And we are going to find that character in the book of Job. So today we are looking at what is it that we need to do in order to start what? A business. And we want to look and find it at Patmos. I've already told you that in Greek, it is mortar. That's what it means. In Hebrew, it means to tread or to walk. So the root meaning of the word Patmos is derived from the Greek word Patmos, meaning mortal or killing. It might also be derived from the Hebrew word Patmos, meaning to tread or to walk. Therefore, Patmos, if we join these two aspects together, it might mean to walk on the place of killing. It might mean to what? To walk in the place of killing. What I'm inviting you, my business associates, is to walk in the place of killing. In the place of what? So, John was at Patmos. And we know, I'm not a theologian, but the theologians will tell you that Patmos is an island. It is surrounded by what? And you cannot go away from it. So this is where he was. So how do I tread? How do I tread? How do I walk in this place where there is no life? How does then John see life in the place of death? and that you'll be able to walk on it. I'm talking to business people. The area of Patmos is 34 square kilometers, which is 3,400 hectares. I'm sure my brother Gondong, you have a farm this size. To give you context, Harare is approximately 90,000 hectares. Therefore, Patmos is 3% of Harare. Never mind Johannesburg or Lusaka. So this place where he is confined at is only 3,400 hectares. So when you are banished or exiled to Patmos, one will be in a very small island where there is nothing, no life, nothing to do. And why are you there? Because you were preaching the word of the Lord. That's what John was doing. So the purpose is to make sure you will not be able to influence the real world when you are there. That's the reason why John was there. They could have killed him, but he had so much influence in Ephesus that if they had killed him, there was going to be a what? A demonstration. So they said, no, let's take him to a place and confine him in a place where there is no life, where there are no people, so that he's not able to influence anyone. You might think that at Patmos, only John went there. No, there are other dignitaries who went to Patmos. There is a gentleman by the name Cassius Longinus, who was a senator in Rome, and he gave problems to the Roman emperor, and was accused of conspiring against Emperor Caligula, and he was exiled into Patmos, 39 CE. There is another gentleman, Androcles, was a Christian martyr. He was imprisoned at Patmos during the reign of Nero because of his faith. There was also one whom you know, Josephus. He was taken to prison, 67 CE. And when he was taken to prison, they said, okay, let us retire him to Patmos, because they were afraid of Josephus' influence. But there are others also whom you know. Napoleon Bonaparte also went to Patmos as they were trying to remove him from the powers of the French, to take him to Patmos so that he will not influence. The difference between all these people is that John saw a vision at Patmos, while others went to die at Patmos. The difference is that at Patmos, John saw a vision. At Patmos, John saw the Lord. He saw New Jerusalem at Patmos, while others went to die at Patmos. Those who are listening to my voice, when trouble come your way, what do you see? Do you see death? Do you want to run away? Where are you going to go to? There is water all around you. Where are you going to go to? Are you going to cry and cringe? Are you going to sleep? No. You are going to see the Lord standing. What do you see when you are in trouble? What do you see? Hey, my business people, what do you see? What do you see, my brother Boman, when you are faced with trouble? There are big people who went to Patmos. Napoleon the Great, he went to die there. There is the servant of the Lord who also went to Patmos, and he saw life. Patmos is now a World Heritage Site. It is like Victoria Falls. It's a World Heritage Site. People flock there to this place every year. and they pay money to go and visit it. Patmos is no longer a place of banishment, a place of exile, but rather it is now a place of hope. So when you go to Patmos, you want to go and see where John saw the vision. You want to go and see. You are not going to see a place where Bonaparte died. You are going to see a place where John. So when you are talking about Patmos now, you are talking about where one goes and lives. So a place of banishment becomes a place of hope, becomes a place of life, becomes a place where you see God. That's where Patmos is now. Those who have businesses, who have money, are now going to go and visit. Let us go and see Patmos. Where John saw God, where John saw Jerusalem coming down. Let us go and see this place. And when you step on that land, on that island, you are going to say, indeed, in all these troubles, Brian, that I'm facing, in all these troubles, it therefore means that I have hope. When you see Patmos, what do you see? Do you see a place of banishment, or do you see a place of hope? The difference is not why you went there, but rather what you did when you got there. It's not the difference. That's the difference. My business people, it is not what troubles you are facing. It is what you do about the troubles that you are facing. That makes you successful. It is not what is around you. It is what you see when you get there. What did John do when he got there? Let us go to Revelation chapter 1, verse 10. We are going to be here for a while. I was in the Spirit, verse 10, on the Lord's day, and heard behind me a great voice as the voice of a trumpet. So, picture this, my brothers and sisters. John had been exiled to Patmos. Obviously, he was struggling with this thought. What have I done wrong? What have I done to deserve this? I have been preaching the gospel of good news. Why do I go to a place of banishment when I'm preaching the word of hope? What am I doing here? So he was struggling with this thought. He was in deep distress until he got to the Sabbath. And then he rested. And while he was in his rest, God visited him. My brothers and sisters, when you are in your struggles, you will struggle to see God. You will struggle to see him. It is when you get to the place of rest that he then comes and visits you. He will come, and surely he will come. If you are fighting, you won't see him. If you are in a place of rest, you are going to see him. You are going to see him. You have to be on the Sabbath to see God. You have to be on the Sabbath. This was not the first day that he saw God when he got there. It was after some time when he was now resting. And he was singing songs, the Sabbath songs. He was singing the Sabbath songs and resting. Then he was visited. My brothers and sisters, let me tell you a secret. At Patmos is where you get the best businesses. I'm going to say that again. At Patmos is where you get the best businesses. It is in the time of trouble that the businesses becomes that you get the best vision for your business. It is not in the time of peace. It is in the time of trouble. It is the time where you are at Patmos. That's when you get the best results. At Patmos, most of you are waiting that this country or this country of Zambia or Zimbabwe, South Africa, things are going to get better. No. You are at Patmos. You are at Patmos. The world is waiting for you to make sure that everything changes. They are waiting for you. You are the John. You are the John. You are at Patmos. So the world is waiting for you to make a change, to make it successful. Because in the time of sorrow, in the time of solitude, that's where you get the best opportunity in life. I'm talking about what? Business. I'm not talking about going to heaven. I'm talking about having businesses here on earth. And we are finding it. Most of you want to read Rich Man, Poor Ruler. You can read them. But the best practices for a businessman who is an Adventist are found in the Bible. Read the Bible and you'll find all the examples that you need to become successful as a businessman. My brother, I heard you speaking when you were here, the banker, and you were saying, you know what? We want to be where people want to talk about Christianity, and then they want to know. We must know that we are talking about business. Hey, I agree with you, but Christianity and business, they work hand in hand. You don't separate them because we are different. We are different. We are different. We are separate. We are not the same. We use Christianity. We use business. We are not of the world. We are not of the world. I was in the Spirit on the Lord's day and heard behind me a great voice as a voice of a trumpet. So when you are at Patmos, you must be resting. The second thing that must happen, that when you are at Patmos, you must hear the voice of God. Are we listening? We must hear the voice of God. We must hear the voice of God. Our businesses are premised on the voice of God. They are premised on the voice of God. What did you hear? Obey. What did you hear? When you started Fossil, what did you hear? What did God say to you? The problem that we begin to face is that when you don't hear the voice of God, you begin to think it is your own power that is making you successful. So you must hear the voice of God, so that when you hear it and then you see him, then you will bow down and say, who am I? Who am I? You must first see him. That's what happened at Patmos. That's in the place where there is nothing, but God's voice still gets there. And when it gets there, you will hear it. What else happened at Patmos? John hears the voice of God. Verse 11. Verse 12. He sees this man who is talking to him. My brothers and sisters, let me tell you something. It is good to hear. It is also important to see. So, John sees. He hears the vision. He hears the vision. I wish I could. He hears the vision. And when he heard the vision, he sees the one who is giving the vision. Are you following? He then sees him. My brothers and sisters, a vision. My vision, our visions. Our visions. We must hear them from God. We must be able to touch them. We are having a problem from Adventists. who are seeing other people, hearing other people's visions. And they begin to follow other people's visions that God has spoken about them. You begin to hear, innocent is doing this. That one is doing that. You then follow. Has God said it to you? It's too innocent. Because what follows the hearing is the seeing. So innocent is going to hear, he's going to see it. He's going to touch it. It's going to be real before he even implements it. I'm talking about a vision now. You will first hear it. You will then touch it. You must touch it. It must have results. It must be tangible. When we see it, before you even get out of the vision, you have already touched it. Most of the visions, people are following other people's visions. They don't hear. So they are going to, someone gave me a good illustration. Abraham, my brother, Abraham, he had a vision. You are going to have a son. He had a vision. You know that, right? When he had the vision, then what was required, Pastor, is now for him to see. He did not see Sarah having a daughter, a son. So he began to implement the vision without seeing it. Ishmael was born. Ishmael was born. So there is a danger in hearing and not seeing. And what is troubling Israel right now is Ishmael. Hearing and not seeing. We are having trouble today because of Ishmael. Of something Abraham saw. Abraham heard but never saw. There is a danger. Those who are listening to my voice, they love to hear. They don't like to see. Wait, because a vision is only complete by hearing and seeing. If you don't see, you have no vision. If you don't hear and you see, who have you heard it from? So you must first what? Hear. So seeing does not start. Hearing starts. Then you see. Are you following, my brother? But when he saw what he saw candlesticks, right? And then he saw Christ as a priest, high priest, standing amongst the candlesticks. And the book says he saw the Son of Man, representing that he was touched with our infirmities. So the one who was standing was a priest who was touched with our infirmities, who was saying, you can conquer like I conquered. And I stand in the place where God will hear you because I'm the Son of God also. Are you following? So the man who saw him, John as he saw him, he was seeing the Son of Man. He was seeing the high priest who was touched. So he was seeing a man who he had conquered on this earth. So while at Patmos, you must see Christ. And you must see him. But you must see him as he conquered. A conquering what? Christ. That's what you must see. He saw a conquering Christ. He didn't see a Christ at the cross. He saw a conquered, a Christ who had conquered. To say, you can come here where I am because I have conquered. That's what he saw. Then he says, the candlesticks, okay, the stars are the angels that are going to be at each church. The candlesticks are the churches. he didn't have to explain about himself. Isn't that so? Because John now knew who he was. But the candlesticks, the candlestands are the church. And the angels, the stars are the angels. So on each church, there was an angel. Remember this. Now, I am reminded of Elisha and that young man. The Philistines are around us. What are we going to do? I think the Syrians, what are we going to do? Elisha prayed, Lord, open his eyes so that he might see. What did he see after he opened his eyes? He said the angels of God protected him. So what you are seeing here is an angel at each church protecting each church. That God was at every church. Are you following? That's what he saw. And then he saw Christ, who was amongst the candlesticks. So what was at Patmos? What was at Patmos? May I submit to you that what was at Patmos was not John, but the 7 churches. I'm going to say that again to you. What was at Patmos in John's mind was the 7 churches. John was more troubled worried about the churches than himself. So the answer that God gave him was about the churches, not about his condition. You see it from the answer. Don't worry, John, about the churches. Because at every church, I have placed my angel. I have placed my what? My angel. Now we are coming to business. My brother, I want to help you. The question is, what is in it for me? No, that's not the question. The question is, what are we going to do for those people who are troubled? For the churches. It is not about me. It is about the church. About the 7 churches. It is not about what I'm going to gain, but what are they going to gain? They are in Patmos. They are struggling. What are they going to get? How are we going to save them? How are we? While I'm at Patmos, what is going to happen to Ephesus? What is going to happen to Laodicea? What is going to happen to the churches? What is going to happen to the churches? The Roman Empire is destroying the churches. What is going to happen to the churches? That was his worry. My brothers and sisters, when our businesses are built on self-gratitude, on self-interest, they are going to be finished. We are not here to build businesses for success. We are here to build businesses for God's work. We are different. In this room, there is no Elon Musk. In this room, there is no Zuckerberg. In this room, there is Yudegur, an Adventist, who believes that there is a Christ who's coming. So our interest is on God's work. What is going to happen to the churches? Is that your prayer? Is that your prayer, Everton? Is that your prayer? What is going to happen to the churches? Though I am punished, oh Lord, I'm in a solitary place. I'm more worried about my brothers who are enjoying themselves, dying. That's what I'm worried about. My solitary place is better than their death. That's what John was worried about. And Jesus' answer was in the midst of those churches. My brothers and sisters, we must recognize that our vision is for others. For others. For others. Your struggle is not for yourself. We are not Babylon. Babylon teaches I. If I. That is pride. That's Babylon. Christ teaches others. Babylon, I. Most of you who came here, you came here for I. God is calling for people to come for others. The vision for this church is built for with people that are looking for others. Now, when John saw, so when you look at the book of Revelation, the book of Revelation is all about 7 churches. Nothing else. From chapter 2 to chapter 22. It's all about what? What is going to happen to the churches? And so John now begins to see the vision. Allow me to speak to you, my brothers. And let me take a little bit of time. So that, because we don't see each other a lot. He begins to see. And what he begins to see are the churches and their state. Chapter 2. He sees 7 churches and the state that they were in. So our businesses must be able to see the surroundings that God has allowed us to see and their state. You will never have a business that is going to be successful when you don't know the state of your customer. And so, I'm not going to elaborate on it, but you must go and look at the 7 churches and see the different characteristics of your clientele. Because what is you are eager to satisfy is this clientele. What am I going to do to this clientele that is struggling, that is suffering? What am I going to do to help them? And so when God comes to you and shows you a vision, he is showing you a vision to solve the crisis of your clientele. And there are 7 different characteristics that you find in your clientele. And it's all in the 7 churches. May I say to you and submit to you that when you don't know your clientele, you don't have a business. Because you don't know what you are worried or concerned about. What is your hunger? What are you? When I started the fuel business, I saw the queues. What am I going to do to solve the crisis of the queues? When I saw the agriculture program, I saw the struggles of a farmer in Zimbabwe. What am I going to do to solve the crisis of that farmer? When you don't see your clientele, you have no business. Because what are the struggles for? And so, we speak about John and his vision because he could tell who his clientele were and who he was struggling for. Are you following? Now, John then went and started doing sub-visions. And there are 26 of them. I can send them to you. 26 visions that you saw in the book of Revelation. 26. All of them were detailing different events and things that were going to happen to the churches. Are you following? So he was telling and how they were going to be perfected and so on. He was telling them about how the troubles that they were going to face these churches and how God is going to come and rescue them. The culmination of this vision. Let us read Revelation chapter 21. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people. And God himself shall be with them and be their God. And God shall wipe away, not all my tears, all their tears. Their tears from their eyes. And there shall be no more death, sorrow, crying, neither shall be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. And he that sat upon the throne said, behold, who sat on the throne? It was the high priest, now the king. And behold, I make all things new. Everything is now new. And he said unto me, write, for these words are true and faithful. He said unto me, it is done. I am Alpha and Omega. When we started, I am Alpha and Omega. At the end, I am still Alpha and Omega. The beginning and the end. And I will go unto him that is a thirst of the fountain of the water of life freely. My brothers and my sisters, there were 7 churches that he saw at the beginning. There was 1 church at the end. No more 7 churches. Because the problems that were in all those churches were resolved to create 1 church. Perfect and pure. The results that he was looking for was found in Jerusalem. Are you following, my brother? Oh, my brothers, what did you see? The book says, and there was no more sea. So what was around him? The sea. Patmos was surrounded by the sea. And he saw Jerusalem coming down. My brothers and sisters, walking, Panorufu, where there is death. How do you walk when there is death? How do you step on this place called earth when there is death? How do you walk on Patmos? He saw New Jerusalem coming down. And when it settled down, there was now a bridge where he could just walk. There was no more sin. So he saw New Jerusalem. And he was now able to walk. So the sea was no longer a barrier. Because this earth, the Jerusalem was placed in such a place that he could now walk. He did not need a ship, nor a train, nor a plane. He could just walk. May I say to you, my brother, the vision that you see must then culminate in people being able to walk into Jerusalem. It must make you able to make those who are listening or who are doing business with you to be able to walk. If your business makes people's lives more difficult, it is not of God. God's business makes people to walk. This was just a vision. It was just a what? So in your vision, you must see your troubles. You must see how those troubles are going to be resolved. You must see the people struggling. You must see the people relieved. When you can't see that, you have no vision. May I say to you, if your vision, you must then be able to live a World Heritage Site. So that people might see, they might come to that place and get hope. People must be able to get, when they just think about you, Everton Mlalas, they must come to your place where you had the vision and get hope. So that those who want to have visions like you might get hope, might get inspiration. A vision is not complete if your vision cannot allow other people to see vision. It's hopeless. The reason why we are reading about John is because it is recorded. Can we record your vision in the annals of history? Our church has taught us to wait for God without creating visions. Our church teaches us to worship, to hear, but not to see. We can't see. We are allowed to hear. We are not allowed to see. Our church allows us to preach about Jerusalem, but not see it. So those who are listening to my voice, you know about Jerusalem. We can talk about it here and talk about our problems. Africa has got this and that and that. What we are waiting for are those who have seen a vision. That's what we are waiting for in the Adventist faith. Not to talk about it, but to see it also. What vision have you seen? I'm just encouraging you. Evaluate your life. Are you at Patmos? Maybe I'm talking to the wrong people. Because most likely, you have never been at Patmos. So how can you see a vision when you are not at Patmos? How can you have people that you are worrying about when there are no people you are worrying about? Eh? How can you? You can't even invite people to come and have lunch with you at home. When you get to church, you want to eat lunch by yourself. Then you want to see a vision. You don't want to talk to people because you think you are too high up there. Then you want to see a vision. Can I tell you something a little bit about John? He was the beloved of Christ, worrying about other people. He could have just decided to worry about himself. He worried about others. Come and join me to what I saw. Our gospel, I want to enjoy it by myself. Can I ask you right now, how many people did you invite to come to ASI? How many people did you pay for to come to ASI? You are coming here hear for yourself, so that they can tell you the business concept, so that you can go in your individual space to go and succeed by yourself. How many people did you invite? I was thinking I was going to see 1,000, 2,000 people. But that's how we are selfish. Those who are listening to my voice most likely have homes, cars, 2 cars, 3 cars, money in the bank. Look at where we are. Look at where we are. We want to spend it for ourselves, not for others. How can you see a vision? How can you? After Patmos, John went back to Ephesus. That's what they say. Well, that's what they told me. So if they told me a lie, go and solve those pastors. That's Yahuma and Lavienne, Pastor Lavienne. And they also said that 1st John, 2nd John, and 3rd John were written after Patmos. Now, let us look at what he wrote when he came from Patmos. 1 John chapter 1, verse 1. If we say that we have fellowship with him and walk in darkness, we lie and do not know the truth. But if we walk in the light, as he is in the light, we have fellowship one with another. And the blood of Jesus Christ, his Son, cleanses us from all our sin. If we say we have not sinned, we have deceived ourselves, and the truth is not in us. If we confess our sins, he is faithful and just. From Patmos. What did he say? From Patmos. Chapter 2, verse 1 and 2. My little children, these things write unto you, that you sin not. And if any sin, we have an advocate. Because he saw him. With the Father, Jesus Christ is righteousness. And he is the propitiation. As a high priest, he is the propitiation for our sins. Verse 10. He that loveth his brother abideth in the light, and there is no occasion of stumbling in him. May I say that again? He that loveth his brother abideth in the light. That's what he was now saying. Those sons of thunder. That's what he was now saying. After what? When he has seen who? Little children. It is the last time, as we have heard, the Antichrist is coming. Where did you see him? What else could you say? First John chapter 3, verse 1 to 3. Behold, what manner of love the Father had bestowed upon us, that we should be called the sons of God. Therefore the world knoweth not us, because it knew him not. Beloved, so our actions are not like their actions, because they don't know him. That's why we should never respond to social media, because they don't know us. They don't know us. How do you respond to people who don't know Christ? Beloved, now we are the sons of God. It doth not appear what we shall be, but we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. And every man that if there's this hope is in him purified himself, and is as he is, pure. What else did John say after Patmos? Ye are of God, little children. Verse 4. And they have overcome them, because greater is he that is in you, that is who is in the world. We are of God. He that knoweth God heareth us.
he that is not of God, we are of God. He that knoweth God, heareth us. He that is not of God, heareth not us. Hereby we know the spirit of truth and the spirit of error. Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God. From Patmos. My brothers, if you have not been at Patmos, you will never know about love. Only those who are at Patmos will have visions that see God's love. 1 John chapter 5. By this we know that we love the children of God when we love God and we keep his commandments. People think that when we're in business, we don't keep his commandments. No. We love others, we keep his commandments. This happened from Patmos. Chapter 2 John chapter 1, verse 9. Whosoever transgresseth and abideth not in the doctrine of Christ hath not God. He that abideth in the doctrine of Christ, he hath both the Father and the Son. 3 John chapter 1, verse 2. Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper. When you see your vision, wanting yourself to prosper, is a problem. You must want others to prosper like yourself. Those who are listening to my voice do not want others to prosper. They want to prosper themselves. Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in the health as thy soul prospereth. So, Paul is talking about two things. First thing, you must prosper, but you must also be in good health. So he wants you to be in health, he wants you to prosper. Health message, he wants you to have it. Good living, he also wants you to have it. Like he has it. But at Patmos, my brothers, as I come to a close, 162,000 convicts were taken and banished in Australia. Many others were taken to America and Africa. These places were places of banishment for the people who lived in UK and Europe. The convicts, if you had trouble or it caused a problem to the king, they sent you to a place of banishment. You were supposed to have been killed, but then they decided, no, instead of killing you, let us take you to Africa, to Australia, to America. So when they went there, they were thanking the king for not having been killed, but given life in punishment. When they got there, started working they were the workers. They were the ones who were driving the master, the slaves. But the bosses were in their homes. But they were working. As time went on, after working for so long, they were given reprieve. And though there are some who chose to go back to England, there are others who remained there. And when you remained, you were given a piece of land as your thank you. Those lands that they gave them are then what has built Australia, America, and the people that give us trouble here. These people. And you know what? When I saw, and they are saying thank you. So when, my brother, you were talking about it here, they succeeded in those places. They then were thanking their masters. And how do they thank their masters? They were paying taxes and royalties to America, to England. All of them paying taxes. And they were called the Commonwealth. And they were thanking their master. I am not in politics. I'm going somewhere. On the 6th or 5th of May, a new king was being proclaimed. And everyone went there to pay homage to their king for giving them life. When you saw the king decked in that gold, it was gold that had come from Australia, from Africa, and from America. And that gold symbolized, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for saving our life. That's what they were doing. My brothers and sisters, we have a king. We have a king. He has banished us to this world. When he comes, we also must pay homage to him and say thank you. Thank you for saving us by taking us to this Patmos. Thank you for Patmos. If it was not for Patmos, I would never have seen you. We are struggling for different reasons. World stage shows us the God stage. We are not of this world. We are not. Why do we act like we are of this world? In fact, may I submit to you, we see your king by your behavior. By your behavior. And through your behavior, you pay homage. So when he comes to your presence, what gifts do you give him? When I come and meet my God on my Sabbath, I bring my tithes and my offerings. And I say, thank you for Patmos. Thank you for Patmos. Your business must have a vision. You must be able to hear it. You must be able to see it. Your vision must be for others. Your vision must be a life-changing experience, so that it might be a World Heritage Site. Just your vision, not your works. That others might come there and be saved. After you have seen that vision, you must say thank you. You must preach love. You must preach prosperity. You must bring everyone to Christ. If we don't do this, we'll remain mediocre. We'll remain following other people's dreams.